Hello, and welcome back to another episode of We Are Meant for More. Today, I have the absolute honor and pleasure of introducing you to my friend, Nikki, and Nikki Hillhouse. Let me tell you a little bit about who Nikki is, and I'm actually going to read it specifically because I want to um, give it its due diligence, and I would like to be accurate. So, Nikki is an experienced mind detox practitioner, a meditation teacher, well-being coach, and retreat facilitator with a vast knowledge of holistic therapies and techniques. She has extensive background in holistic health. Nikki believes we all have the potential to live our best life, and our health, wealth, relationships, and success comes when we connect and align with who we truly are. Her mission is to help and empower others to overcome their most challenging obstacles and start living happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. Nikki is a stroke thriver and has reinvented herself as a beacon of health and vitality. Her journey started from the grips of chronic pain to the peaceful shores of Turkey, where she now lives and hosts transformational wellness retreats and her coaching business. Wow, that is powerful and impressive. So, welcome, Nikki. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, such a pleasure to be here, Karen. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm excited to be here for our conversation.
Me too. So there's so much there to just unpack, and I'm so excited for everybody to get to know who you are and what you do. So starting right there, I guess, tell us what you do. What is a mind detox practitioner, and what do you do?
Mind Detox is all about, I like to see myself as a little bit of a gardener. I like to pull up the weeds out of people's minds, and then I plant these beautiful seeds that when the sun comes out, in the water, you put your seeds in and it grows into these beautiful plants and flowers. So when people are stuck in the past, they may be stuck in beliefs, or they have physical problems or life problems going on right now. I just help them to purify the perceptions about the past. We can't change our past, it's happened. The good, the bad, the ugly, the whole lot, we can't change it. But what we can do is we can change our perceptions around what actually happened. So I help people to basically draw a line in the sand and help that memory to meet a completion. The subconscious mind will come up with a memory that's I'll ask certain questions and it'll come up with a memory that needs to be healed in that session. So we'll heal that memory, and that person leaves with these positive learnings from the memory. So basically you're putting in these positive learnings. They've had it's happened, the events happened. But
Mhm.
as you know, our beliefs are all sort of, they operate and exist in our unconscious mind. So even though something has happened, sometimes our unconscious mind can distort it a little bit. It can make it, filter it into what we think, perceive, what it is now. But when we actually go into that memory, even though it's happened, it's not quite what we think it is today. So I'm all about pulling up the weeds. We pull up the weeds, we get
Mhm.
out all the nasty bits, and we plant all these beautiful seeds of health and well-being for that person to flourish and grow. That's what Mind Detox is.
I love
In a
that.
roundabout way, in a nutshell.
Yes, and I like the relating it to gardening. So you actually do revisit the past a little bit to kind of dig it up and poke and prod a little bit. But I agree with what you just said that we often distort the memory. So rather than doing that in a positive way, we make it much worse than it actually was. And we revisit it and revisit it and revisit it. And I love that you kind of dig it up, but replace it with positive.
It's not it's a form of therapy, but a lot of people, when they go to therapy, been asked to keep bringing up the past. Let's talk about
Mhm.
that again. It's not about that. You're bringing it to a conclusion and it's done, it's gone, it's finished. It's a bit like having, like you've got your glasses on there, Karen. It's a
Mhm.
bit like having, you know, when you get it all mucky or like the windscreen of a car. And if you were to clean your glasses now or the windscreen, you know, you clear it all. So it's all nice and clear and you see it with fresh eyes. And that's literally what it is, you know, to help people to move on. Because when you're holding on to stuff from the past and all these unhealthy beliefs, it's not good for the body. You know,
Mhm.
it creates this disharmony and can cause ill health in the body. So,
Absolutely. And so your past, so oftentimes people think, their past disqualifies them from doing anything special because, oh, this thing happened. So now, well, I can't do anything special now. I'm not worthy or I'm not. Um, Tell the audience how or explain a little bit about your journey from the past where you might have reached a time when you thought you couldn't do amazing things and now you are. So what did that look like?
when I was 31 years old, I'm now 56. When I was 31, I was having a bit of neck pain. So I went to the doctor, and with my sort of health background and things, I knew it was a torticollis, you know, a twisted neck, you know, wry neck. You know, when you move quickly and you go, oh, my neck. So I thought I'd just pull my neck. And my GP gave me some pain relief and told me it'll be fine in a few days. But a friend of mine, he was seeing an osteopath for his back pain. And he said, why don't you come along with me? We'll book you in for an appointment and you can have some osteopath manipulation on your neck. And I was really uncomfortable. So I thought, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. Never been to an osteopath before. So I went along and had the session. And but I did notice, you know, we talk about that, you talk about the inner whisper, Karen, that inner guide, you know when something's not quite right. She was pushing down really firmly on the top of my head. And I was like, oh, this is very painful. Just, I have to do that to release whatever. And I know it was called, I didn't know it then, but it's called a high velocity thrust. So, you know, like in a supermarket, you have your tins of whatever stacked up and you can push like Jenga, you can push it through and the stack still stays
Mhm.
upright. Well, that's what she was doing with my neck. So she was trying to sort of push whatever it was to release something in the neck. But as she did that, it was a lot of pain. But the following day, I was in the bath. I was having a bath because it just wasn't going away, the pain, and it was getting, you know, very uncomfortable. But as I was having my bath, I unfortunately had a stroke in the bath.
Mm.
And what had happened was my vertebral artery dissected. So the maneuver that the osteopath had actually done had created a vertebral artery dissection. So you know, you'll know from your medical background.
Mhm.
So that was the beginning of my, let's just say, my world was turned completely upside down. And I had to, suppose, reinvent myself again and go on a different trajectory of like what my life, you know, to where my life is now. You know, what I went through is basically what I went through was I had to go through everything to be where I am now. And I just learned and took things from it that I could. And what you just said there, Karen, about maybe what was your life like? I remember when I was talking about beliefs there, you know, about mind detox and the beliefs. I remember the day I was leaving the hospital, and there I am sitting in my wheelchair, bearing in mind I'm 31. And this consultant looked down at me, and he was to me, a big, you know, big chap. And he's saying, listen, dear, you need to just accept that this is how your life's going to be now. And your cognitive ability is poor. You're not going to be able to do. And he was reeling off all the things that I couldn't do.
Mm.
So if I believed everything he told me, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. So I then decided to not plant those unhealthy beliefs. And then I started to plant my own healthy beliefs in the way of, right, what can I do? What am I able to do? So I went on and I studied massage, and then I did sports massage. I had my own business. All the things that I was told, and I passed my driving test that I suppose I wasn't supposed to do. All these things that I was told I was not going to be able to do. yeah, I just believed in myself, and I thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and live the best life that I possibly can. Okay, my body's not maybe the same as it was before. There's still some tricky things going on, but I can still lead a beautiful life, irrespective of what's happened to me. So do not believe everything that you're told.
So I hope everybody is hearing that. That's such an important, and there's so much in that right there. But what I wanted to dive into was what you just said. Somebody read off to you all the things that you were no longer going to be able to do, and you made a conscious choice to believe otherwise. And did you know that right away when he said all those things? Did you know right away that I'm not going to believe that? Or did you have to kind of process a little and say, no, I've decided I'm not going to believe that?
It was a bit of both, Karen. In that moment, I'm not going to swear on camera. Inside it was
You
blah
can,
blah blah
you can swear,
sort
vegan.
of thing. You sort of thing. And I thought, no, I'm a young woman. Please don't tell me that this is what's I'm going to be in a wheelchair and I can't walk and I can't eat and I can't do this and I can't do that. So yes, part of me was, but I didn't know how. Now when we talk about the how will take care of itself. I didn't know when, how, whatever it was going to be, whether it be 6 months, 6 years, 16 years, 20 years, whatever it was going to be, to get myself sort of healthy and well again. But I just sort of knew deep down at the core that, like the podcast, that I was meant for more.
Mhm.
That this wasn't it. This wasn't. I was refusing to be this young woman in a wheelchair and spend my life indoors and not pursuing any dreams or ambitions or career or anything like this. And don't get me wrong, there was times when I was like, I don't know if I can do this. How is this even possible? But I knew that if I got up every day and I put the effort in, and did my exercises and did all the things that I was told to do, that somehow, I don't know when, how, and all this, it would happen, because I had such a strong belief that and I think my mum, she used to say to me that, there's no such word as you can't do something. So I think I've always kept that belief in my mind from a young age that no matter what happens to you, you know, try your best, see what happens.
Yes. And the word belief keeps coming up, and it's so important. And what I heard was that you made a decision. And once you made the decision, the events that come after that kind of fall into place. Where you said the how, I always say the how is none of our business. The right people, opportunities, experiences will come to you once you make the decision. And as you said, once you really believe that you were meant for more, or that you were not going to live your life in a wheelchair. And there's so much power in the belief. And I don't know who said it, but the person who said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. So when you believe that you can do something, you're correct, you can, and it'll
It's like
happen.
that saying, win or lose, you win. It's
Win
that,
or
isn't it?
lose, you win. I have to think about that for a second. Win
Because there's
or
no such, when we say like defeat or
uh-huh.
we've done something and we haven't achieved something, it's like, but who said, what do you mean? Win or lose, you win, because that's what you set out to do. And if it's come out a different way that you expected it to, you knew what you were doing anyway. So win or lose, you win. So you're right.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that. And I always say, in the losing, we there's a lesson in it. It takes us down a different path than we expected. We come out stronger, and there's no failures. It's just like we learn more, or we go in a different direction, or
Mhm.
certainly in my failure, what I would consider failures or mistakes is where I found so much strength. And it's when the world gets turned upside down that you go through something, but when you come out on the other side, it's wow.
It's those adversities do not, it's what you want to use your adversities to sort of mold your present and your future, don't you?
Mhm.
Educate yourself, empower others, because by sharing our adversities and what we've been through, this is how we heal others. Because there's so many people sitting out there that have been through so many things thinking they're the only person when they're not. And life throws us these curveballs because that's what happens, doesn't it? It's the
Mhm.
good, the bad, the ugly, and all the bits in between. But it's how we respond to it, isn't it? That's the key. It's how we dust ourselves off, and get back on that, get back on it again and move forward. That's important.
Yes.
Mm.
And I love that you use what you've been through now to empower other people. Because there's in the end, there's a message in what at one point you consider your mess, like, oh, like my life is a mess. But now, um, being able to help others, what do you think, or what would you say to the person listening who maybe is in the middle of their mess right now, that's in the middle of something, whether it's illness or addiction or just all in all in a dark place? What would you say to that person who feels like there is no hope, that they don't know how, not me, she could do that, but I couldn't do that?
We have all got this inner strength within us that we sometimes don't think we have. But we are a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and know that you're strong. Okay, these things have happened and they're unfortunate, but we have this incredible power within us. If we can just grab that power and take it back and step into our purpose and move forward. And I know it's difficult when you're struggling and you can't see a way forward, but we get to be the creator. We get to be the creator of our futures starting now. And I'd say reach out. I spent many, many years in a lot of suffering, even though I was going on my own journey, and I wouldn't talk about it and I wouldn't ask for help. So I did it the hard way. So what I'd say to everyone is reach out to people, reach out to a therapist or a friend, even reach out to a friend or a family member, tell them how you're feeling. Do not sit in silence. You're not going to heal when you sit in silence. And it takes courage. To be vulnerable, it takes courage. And it's a beautiful thing when you can be vulnerable and ask for help, because everybody, I don't care what anybody says, everyone out there in the world is going to hit some sort of wall or adversity, and we need help. We need that friend that's going to sit and listen to us, just if we just want to offload. But yeah, don't suffer in silence, and know that you've got this incredible strength and power within, even though you may not feel it right now. But the more confident and stronger you get, you'll start to see that, and you'll be able to achieve what you'd like to achieve. Definitely.
I listened to you saying that, and I actually have goosebumps right now because that's just it. People think they're the only one, or there's so much shame around maybe not feeling perfect or, having a flaw. You and I have had the conversation about the perfectly imperfect, and we're perfectly imperfect, and we're limitless, which is something you have on your website. That is it exactly that? You're limitless?
Yeah, limitlessness. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And if somebody tells you it's impossible, I mean, there's maybe things like I'm not going to go to NASA right now and become an astronaut, perhaps. So there's realistic things, there's things you need to be realistic about. But if you start to plant a seed, as soon as you start, when you're talking about beliefs, you put that into your subconscious and you're putting it out there to the universe, the world, whatever. It's out there. You've said it. It will happen. It will happen. You're not sure when it's going to happen, or how the how will take care of itself. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's that it's your belief system. always comes back to beliefs. It's what we believe. Yeah. What we get told.
Absolutely. And reaching out so you're not going through it alone, because you're not alone. And having that emotional involvement too with the belief. Did you have a really big why? Was there always a driving why behind your ability to keep going forward? How important is that, do you think?
My why was my son. My
Mm-hmm.
son. And I had been through one divorce, long story, but, and I wanted to show my son that, stick to your morals, your values, and, have a good work ethic, be a good person. And I wanted to be a good role model for him and show him, that anything is possible. And I always remember, because he was 14 at the time, and he said to me, Mom, are you going to always be in a wheelchair? And I was like, no. And then I had one of these little, what we call the old lady walkers, with
Yes,
the seat on it.
of course.
And I remember once he said to me, he was on the school bus, and he said, oh my God, he said, Mum, I saw you and I didn't know what to do. You were with your little walker thing. And he was with his friends. And he was in that moment of like, do I get embarrassed? But it's like, well, no, she's my mum.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm proud of her. She's doing what she can to get well. But as for a 14-year-old boy, it was quite is my mum going to be disabled in a wheelchair forever? So yeah, so my why was to be strong for him and to show him that no matter what happens to you, you can rise up, and you can move on. And he's dealt with his own, he's a grown man now, and he's dealt with his own adversities. So he knows that he can move forward and past what stuff he's been through.
Yes. And they always say, with your children, it's caught, not necessarily taught. So they're always watching and learning, and just by what they see. So setting that example. And my son was always my why too, because when I went through such a dark time when his dad passed, I was not showing up in a powerful way. It was, and there was a lot of shame around that and embarrassment. But when you finally make that decision that this isn't good enough, it's not good enough for me, but it is certainly not good enough for him. And if somehow you come out on the other side, and it does teach them something. It's, and when I tell him sometimes now, you can do anything, I want him to see that that's what I do. Like that I pursue my dreams and I pursue things, because he is watching.
Mm.
He's 18 now, so I think he's pretty amazing. But they are always watching. So that's definitely a powerful why. I think the why is huge. What's your favorite part about what you do?
Oh my goodness. I just love watching the transformation. I actually had a lady the other day who said, I want to write your testimonial. She came to me with back pain, and really bad back pain. And within about an hour, it had gone. Back pain disappeared. And she just couldn't work it out. This is not normal. What are you talking about? And it was because she was holding on to something that she didn't want to. And back pain is all about support. It was her lower back. So support is all about, where in my life am I not feeling supported? And as soon as I asked her that, she was like, ding, I know exactly where I'm not feeling supported. So we worked on that. And anyway, so the best part of the job is watching people have that massive shift. They just to transform their lives and heal the relationship with themselves to start with. Once they start having that self-love and heal a relationship with themselves, it then radiates out onto their relationships in their family life, their friendships, their work. I just love all aspects of what I do. I love teaching my meditation. I mean, I run a free group every Monday, and the ladies that come on it, they just get so much from it. And I just love my wellness retreats. When I watch people come through the door, so to speak, and people come away for a reason, don't they? They want to heal things. and mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. And to watch them after on day 7, the transformation it's just like it lights me up inside. It's like I have like this inner glow inside me going, I didn't do it. It's not me that does it. They do it themselves. I'm just there as like holding the space and guiding them a little bit, but they put the work in. They're doing it themselves. So that's what, that's what lights me up, watching people take responsibility. It's all about taking responsibility for your own health, your own well-being, because no one else is, I always say this, no one's going to come a white horse charger, come to save you. It's not fairy tale land, you got to put the work in. And if you put the work in, you can achieve anything, so it just lights me up when I watch my clients in my coaching business or at my wellness retreats to make an inner shift and come back to their authentic selves. A lot of people are a little bit lost. What's my purpose and who am I? Maybe I don't know, their kids have gone off to university and they're like, oh, empty nest. Lots of different things, and it's like, well, their identity, they feel their identity's gone. The mother bit, well, I can't mother my children because they've gone off to university. But who am I? And when I usually ask people, who do you think you are? Who are you? They can't answer. They've lost the sense of who they are, their true self. Mm-hmm. So I just love watching people come back to being their authentic true self, ditch the masks and come back to being their authentic selves.
So amazing. I feel better just even from this conversation with you. That's life-changing work. So it isn't necessarily about becoming somebody different, but it's unbecoming all the things that you've started to become over the years that weren't really you, weren't really the authentic version of who we are, between society's expectations and people pleasing and whatever else has contributed to who we've become over the years, like unbecoming all those things and finding who we truly are, and then embracing that person, imperfections and all. It's very freeing.
It's befriending who you are, because a lot of people, especially women, when I talk to women, to get them to befriend their body is a difficult one, because they might not look like what they're looking at. And I always say, this is a vehicle. It's not the driver. This is not you. This is just your physical. You're in this physical body. That is not who you are, and it's getting them to see that and fall in love with themselves again. It's befriend your body doesn't work against you. When you have physical things happening and people have some ailments, your body's doing everything it can to survive and adapt in the conditions that you're giving it. If you give it the right condition, like I was saying about planting the seeds, the water, the sunshine, it'll grow, it'll flourish, it'll nurture. If you're putting the wrong food in your body, if you're feeding your mind toxic messages, or not believing you're worthy enough or good enough, what do you think that's doing to your body? Causing all this toxicity and disharmony. So it's all about coming back to harmony and befriending your body, befriending who you are, and being at peace with it, irrespective if there's little things going on, being at peace and being grateful. Gratitude's a big one.
Absolutely. One more thing I wanted to back up to that you said that was so interesting about the woman with the back pain, storing emotions in your body. That might be unfamiliar to some of the audience members that are listening. How does that work and what do you find? So people are actually storing experiences or emotions in their body, holding on to it.
What I find today is a lot of people go to the doctor in order to be fixed because they have some tricky things going on, aches and pains. So they'll go to the doctor and they'll, I want a cream, a potion, a pill, and the doctor's going to fix me, make me healthy. A quick fix. They don't look at themselves first to see. I always say we need to be our own little Miss Marple. Be your own detective. and go on a little journey and find out what's going on in my life, what would be creating these symptoms, what's my work-life balance like, what's my relationship like, what food am I putting in my body. And like back pain is all about, lower back pain is all about lack of support, or it could be you're not supporting others. The middle of your back is all about loss of connection of who you are. Your upper back and shoulders is all about carrying an extra weight. You feel like there's a weight on your shoulders. Your neck is so symbolic because it's like when people get neck pain, it's usually somebody or something that's being a pain in the neck. People that have like joint pain, they're maybe been told that they've got arthritis because they're presenting symptoms of inflammation. Okay, yeah, you've gone to the doctor, they've given you, you've gone with the collection of symptoms and they've given you a label, and that label is arthritis. But they don't tell you why your body is creating the inflammation in the first place. So people don't look at that like, what am I eating? What's, like I said, about the toxic beliefs? What's the relationship like? What's their home life like? They'll just look for the quick fix, thinking that that'll ease their discomfort. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually the mind-body connection, because the mind-body connection is so symbolic. And that's mostly the work that I do. It's all about mind-body connection, mind-body soul.
Beautiful, so powerful. And it puts the accountability and back on the person to do the work and really be their own advocate, but accountable for their part. And they have a big role, actually the biggest role in improving all of that.
And I think what you said there, Karen, about emotions, the more you stuff the emotions down, it's not healthy. People are frightened of emotions. They don't want to feel hurt, sadness, grief, anger, you know, because a lot of, due to our conditioned beliefs growing up, it was, don't be sad, don't be unhappy, you know, and through no fault of our own, our parents just want to protect you. But if you're not told, you know, and explained what these other emotions are and allowed to sit with them and allow them to just to come through your nervous system, because emotions are temporary, they will come and they will go. But if you're hanging on to emotions and you're stuffing them down and stuffing them down, you know, like a Jack, do you remember the Jack in the Box? I don't know if you were
Yes,
taught
absolutely.
Jack. Imagine just stuffing the Jack down. So all your emotions are going into that box. And if there's so much in there, it's going to pop open, isn't it? And what will usually happen is if you're stuffing a lot of anger, hurt, resentment, fear, and you're pushing all that down, and it just goes. You take that out on the people close to you, maybe your relationship, maybe your work colleagues, and because you're not addressing your emotions. So it's really important that we sit with our emotions and allow ourselves to feel our emotions. They're nothing to be frightened of. It's just energy in motion. We need the emotions to thrive, to move forward, to propel. There's nothing to be frightened of. It's only that we focus on, oh, these are like the bad emotions. I don't want to feel this. And a lot of people will turn to maybe drugs, alcohol, binge watching TV, eating too much food because it's a distraction, because they don't want to feel their emotions. And unless you start to feel your emotions and address them, this is where the disharmony and the disease can happen in the body. And it can come out in skin conditions, back pain, headaches, insomnia, you know, fatigue, whatever it could be. So it's important that we don't be frightened of your emotions. It's okay to have emotions.
Oh my gosh, this has been so, so amazing. So amazing. So where would you recommend people find you? So in the show notes, I'm certainly going to have all your contact information, but if somebody wanted to look you up now, I know you mentioned free sessions that you do on Mondays, if they wanted to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just go onto my website, very straightforward, my name, nikkihillhouse.com. And there's free meditation every Monday UK time, GMT at 6 p.m. So I don't know how that works with all the different time zones. It's like 8 p.m. for me, 6 p.m. UK, but you just go onto there and book onto it and you'll get a Zoom link and you can join the free meditation every Monday. You can read a bit more about me, about my story on my website. Yeah, just reach out, or my email is info@nikkihillhouse.com. But like we said earlier in the conversation, Karen, don't sit and suffer in silence. You know, it's that there's people need to know that they're not alone. They're not alone in this, you know, and it's okay to reach out. Always there if anyone wants to reach out, send me a message.
That is beautiful. That was actually going to be my last question was, is there anything you would like to leave the audience with? And that was pretty powerful. Is there anything else you would want to share or want people to know about you or about how they can also get through the adversity?
I'm also on Instagram, just my name, Nikki Hillhouse, Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah, everything's just under my name. I don't have it's nothing fancy. It's just my name, Nikki Hillhouse. Just Google me and an app will come. I'll be there.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so, so much for being here. You have so much to offer, and you're so just an amazing person, and your work is so powerful. I'm really thankful to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Karen. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Okay. Take care. You have a wonderful day.